The deadliest town in every U.S. state. Avoid at all cost. Alabama, Bessemer. This Birmingham suburb has earned the grim distinction of Alabama's most dangerous city, with a violent crime rate over 200% higher than the national average. With a population of just 26,000, Bessemer recorded 17 murders in a single year, giving it a murder rate that rivals war zones. The city's economic collapse after the steel industry decline left behind poverty, abandoned buildings, and desperate communities. Drive through Bessemer and you'll see boarded-up homes, empty storefronts, and streets where gunfire is background noise. The police department struggles with understaffing while crime spirals out of control. Residents describe neighborhoods where leaving your house after dark is genuinely dangerous, where children play amid the sound of distant gunshots. This isn't sensationalism. FBI statistics confirm Bessemer's violence exceeds nearly every other Alabama city. Alaska, Anchorage. Alaska's largest city has a violent crime rate 240% above the national average, with particular problems in domestic violence and sexual assault. Anchorage sees higher rates of rape and assault than almost any American city its size. The isolation, darkness during winter months, substance abuse epidemic, and limited law enforcement resources create a perfect storm for violence. Downtown Anchorage has areas where assaults occur regularly, and women face particularly high risks. The city's sprawl makes police response times painfully slow in many neighborhoods. Alaska's frontier mentality combines with urban density in ways that amplify danger. Tourists see scenic mountains, while residents navigate streets where violent crime is a daily reality. Arizona, Tucson. This Phoenix suburb of 7,000 people has astronomical crime rates that shock even locals. Tucson's violent crime rate is 367% higher than the Arizona average. Gang activity dominates certain neighborhoods, with drug trafficking and associated violence creating constant danger. The small size concentrates crime to the point where avoiding trouble becomes nearly impossible for residents. Property crime is equally severe. Your chances of being a crime victim in Tucson are 1 in 12 annually. The city has tried intervention programs, but limited resources and entrenched gang presence make progress glacial. Walking Tucson's streets after sunset is playing Russian roulette with your safety. Arkansas, Helena, West Helena. This Mississippi Delta town combines crushing poverty with violent crime in devastating ways. With median household income under $25,000 and nearly 40% of residents in poverty, economic desperation fuels violence. The violent crime rate is 250% above the national average in a town of just 10,000. Murders, assaults, and robberies occur at rates that would make national news in wealthier communities, but barely register here. Buildings stand abandoned, jobs disappeared decades ago, and hopelessness permeates everything. Helena, West. Helena represents the forgotten America, where poverty and violence create inescapable cycles. The Delta's economic collapse left communities like this to rot. California, Emeryville. This tiny Oakland suburb has the highest property crime rate in California and violent crime to match. With just 12,000 residents, Emeryville recorded crime rates that exceed cities 10 times its size. Your chance of being a crime victim here is 1 in 8 annually. Car break-ins happen in broad daylight, robberies are routine, and assaults occur regularly despite heavy police presence. The city's small size and location between Oakland and Berkeley create a crime concentration zone. Shopping centers and business districts experience constant theft. Emeryville proves that small California cities can be as dangerous as large ones when geography and economics align badly. Colorado, Alamosa. This San Luis Valley town has violent crime rates 180% above Colorado's average. Gang activity, drug trafficking routes through the valley, and economic stagnation create persistent danger. Alamosa sees murders, aggravated assaults, and robberies at rates shocking for a town of 10,000. The isolation of the San Luis Valley limits law enforcement resources, while drug cartels use the area as a distribution hub. Residents report streets where drug deals happen openly and violence erupts without warning. Alamosa combines rural isolation with urban crime patterns in the worst possible way. Connecticut, Hartford. Connecticut's capital has violent crime rates that dwarf the rest of the state. Hartford averages over 30 murders annually in a city of 121,000, giving it a murder rate higher than many larger cities. Shootings occur almost daily in certain neighborhoods. Gang violence is endemic, and poverty reaches 30%. The contrast between Hartford's insurance company skyscrapers and its devastated neighborhoods is jarring. Drive 5 blocks from downtown corporate towers, and you're in areas where buildings are abandoned and gunfire is common. Connecticut's wealth inequality concentrates in Hartford, where extreme poverty and violence exist alongside corporate wealth. Delaware, Wilmington. Delaware's largest city has earned the nickname Murder Town USA, with crime statistics that justify the label. Wilmington's murder rate per capita rivals or exceeds Detroit, Baltimore, and St. Louis in bad years. With just 70,000 residents, the city sees 20 to 30 murders annually, concentrated in specific neighborhoods where gang violence is constant. Certain areas of Wilmington are so dangerous that police patrol in pairs and residents avoid entire sections of the city. Drug trafficking, gang warfare, and economic decline have created zones where violence is normalized. Delaware's small size means its most dangerous city is also impossible to avoid for many residents. Florida, Florida City. This small city south of Miami has violent crime rates 370% above the national average. With 13,000 residents, Florida City recorded murder rates that exceed major cities. Gang activity, drug trafficking proximity to the Everglades and Caribbean routes, and concentrated poverty create extreme danger. Robberies and aggravated assaults happen at rates that make residents prisoners in their homes. The city sits at the gateway to the Keys, making it a major drug corridor. Florida City's crime statistics are so extreme, they seem like data errors until you visit and see the reality. Georgia, College Park. This Atlanta suburb near the airport has violent crime 300% above Georgia's average. Murders, armed robberies, and assaults occur regularly in a city of just 15,000. The proximity to the airport makes it a hub for drug trafficking and associated violence. Certain neighborhoods see shootings weekly, and gang activity dominates entire sections. College Park's reputation keeps visitors away, while residents struggle with daily danger. Police resources are stretched thin, while criminals operate openly in some areas. Hawaii, Honolulu. Hawaii's capital has higher violent crime than tourist brochures suggest. While tourist areas are relatively safe, local neighborhoods see assault rates 80% above national averages. Property crime targeting tourists and locals alike is epidemic. The concentration of poverty in certain Honolulu neighborhoods creates danger zones tourists never see. Meth addiction and homelessness contribute to violent incidents. Honolulu's crime gets hidden behind paradise marketing, but residents know the reality. Idaho, Garden City. This Boise suburb has violent crime rates triple Idaho's average despite a population under 12,000. Gang activity unusual for Idaho has taken root here, with assaults and robberies at rates that shock neighboring communities. The city's small size concentrates crime dramatically. Garden City has become Idaho's crime outlier, proving even the safest states have dangerous pockets. Illinois, Danville. This struggling industrial city has violent crime 250% above the Illinois average. With 30,000 residents, Danville sees murders, shootings, and gang violence at rates rivaling Chicago neighborhoods. Economic collapse after manufacturing decline left poverty, abandoned buildings, and desperation. Entire neighborhoods are no-go zones after dark. Danville represents Illinois' forgotten cities where violence is a daily reality. Indiana, Gary. This once prosperous steel town has become synonymous with American urban decay. Gary's violent crime rate is among the highest in America, with over 2,000 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. The population has collapsed from 180,000 to 69,000, as anyone who can leave does. Entire neighborhoods are abandoned, buildings stand gutted, and streets are empty except for criminal activity. Gary has over 13,000 abandoned structures, creating perfect cover for crime. Murders, robberies, and assaults occur against a backdrop of complete economic devastation. Driving through Gary feels post-apocalyptic, with vast sections looking like war zones. Iowa, Council Bluffs. This Omaha border city has violent crime rates 150% above Iowa's average. Gang activity, meth addiction, and property crime plague a city of 62,000. Assaults and robberies occur at rates unusual for Iowa. Council Bluffs struggles with spillover crime from Omaha while lacking resources to combat it effectively. Kansas, Wichita. Kansas's largest city has violent crime far exceeding the state average. With 400,000 residents, Wichita sees over 50 murders annually, plus thousands of assaults and robberies. Gang violence in certain neighborhoods creates danger zones. The city's size and economic struggles combine to produce Kansas's most dangerous environment. Kentucky, Pikeville. This Appalachian town has violent crime rates shocking for its 7,000 population. Poverty, opioid epidemic, and economic collapse create desperation that fuels violence. Pikeville sees assaults and robberies at rates that would alarm larger cities. The opioid crisis has devastated the region, and associated crime follows addiction. Louisiana, Monroe. This northeast Louisiana city has one of America's highest murder rates. With 47,000 residents, Monroe averages 30 murders annually, giving it a murder rate exceeding New Orleans. Poverty reaches 35%. Gang violence is endemic, and shootings are routine. Certain neighborhoods are too dangerous for police to patrol alone. Monroe represents Louisiana's crime crisis concentrated in a mid-sized city. Maine, Lewiston. Maine's second largest city has violent crime 200% above the state average. With 36,000 residents, Lewiston struggles with drug-related violence, assaults, and economic decline. The city's crime stands out dramatically in peaceful Maine. Gang activity unusual for the state has taken root here. Maryland, Baltimore. Maryland's largest city has murder rates that consistently rank among America's worst. Baltimore averages over 300 murders annually, giving it a murder rate higher than El Salvador. Entire neighborhoods are controlled by gangs, drug corners operate openly, and violence is normalized. The city's police department has faced corruption scandals while crime spirals. Baltimore represents American urban violence at its most extreme and persistent. Massachusetts, Springfield. This western Massachusetts city has violent crime triple the state average. With 155,000 residents, Springfield sees gang violence, shootings, and murders at rates shocking for Massachusetts. Economic decline, poverty, and drug trafficking create dangerous conditions in multiple neighborhoods. Springfield's crime contrasts sharply with wealthy eastern Massachusetts. Michigan, Detroit. America's most infamous declining city has crime statistics that justify its reputation. With violent crime rates among the nation's highest, Detroit sees thousands of aggravated assaults, robberies, and over 250 murders annually. Entire neighborhoods are abandoned, police response times can exceed an hour, and large sections are essentially lawless. Detroit's population collapsed from 1.8 million to 639,000, leaving infrastructure for a major city serving a fraction of that. Abandoned buildings number over 70,000, creating perfect environments for crime. Minnesota, Minneapolis. Minnesota's largest city has seen violent crime surge dramatically. Minneapolis now has violent crime rates 150% above the state average, with murders, carjackings, and assaults spiking. Gang violence and drug activity have intensified in recent years. Certain neighborhoods see regular shootings. Minneapolis's crime has shattered Minnesota's safe reputation. Mississippi, Jackson. The state capital has violent crime among America's worst. With 150,000 residents, Jackson sees over 100 murders annually, giving it a murder rate rivaling the most dangerous cities globally. Poverty exceeds 25%, infrastructure is failing, and gang violence dominates neighborhoods. Shootings are daily occurrences in some areas. Jackson represents concentrated poverty and violence in America's poorest state. Missouri, St. Louis. Consistently ranking as America's most dangerous major city, St. Louis has murder rates that exceed nearly everywhere. The city proper has only 300,000 residents, but sees 200 murders annually. Violent crime rates are over 400% above national averages. Gang violence, poverty, and population decline create conditions where danger is inescapable in many neighborhoods. Montana, Billings. Montana's largest city has violent crime 130% above the state average. With 110,000 residents, Billings struggles with assaults, robberies, and drug-related violence unusual for Montana. The city's crime stands out dramatically in a generally safe state. Nebraska, Omaha. Nebraska's largest city has violent crime far exceeding state averages. Gang activity, shootings, and murders occur regularly in a city of 480,000. Certain neighborhoods see violence at rates rivaling much larger cities. Omaha's crime concentration surprises those expecting Midwestern safety. Nevada, Las Vegas. Beyond the Strip's security, Las Vegas has violent crime 140% above national averages. With 650,000 residents, the city sees murders, robberies, and assaults at alarming rates. Certain neighborhoods away from tourist areas are extremely dangerous. Property crime is equally severe, with car thefts and burglaries epidemic. New Hampshire, Manchester. New Hampshire's largest city has violent crime 200% above the state average. Drug trafficking, particularly heroin and fentanyl, fuels violence in a city of 115,000. Assaults and robberies occur at rates shocking for traditionally safe New Hampshire. New Jersey, Camden. Once America's most dangerous city, Camden has improved but remains extremely violent. With 71,000 residents, the city still sees murder rates among the nation's highest. Poverty exceeds 35%, abandoned buildings dominate the landscape, and gang violence persists despite intervention efforts. New Mexico, Gallup. This Route 66 town has violent crime 300% above New Mexico's average. With 22,000 residents, Gallup struggles with alcohol-related violence, assaults, and murders. The city's location and economic struggles create persistent danger. New York, Buffalo. New York's second largest city has violent crime far exceeding state averages. With 275,000 residents, Buffalo sees gang violence, shootings, and murders concentrated in specific neighborhoods. Economic decline and poverty create conditions where violence thrives. North Carolina, Lumberton. This town of 20,000 has violent crime 250% above North Carolina's average. Gang activity, drug trafficking, and murders occur at rates shocking for the town's size. Lumberton has earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous small cities in America. North Dakota, Mandan. Even North Dakota's most dangerous city is relatively safe by national standards, but Mandan has violent crime 100% above the state average. Drug-related incidents and assaults occur at rates unusual for North Dakota. Ohio, Cleveland. Ohio's second largest city has violent crime among the state's worst. With 372,000 residents, Cleveland sees over 150 murders annually, plus thousands of assaults and robberies. Gang violence dominates certain neighborhoods, and poverty exceeds 30%. Oklahoma, Tulsa. Oklahoma's second largest city has violent crime 160% above state averages. With 413,000 residents, Tulsa sees gang violence, murders, and assaults concentrated in specific areas. Crime has intensified in recent years. Oregon, Portland. Oregon's largest city has seen violent crime surge dramatically. Murders, assaults, and carjackings have spiked, with gang violence intensifying. Certain neighborhoods that were safe 5 years ago now see regular shootings. Pennsylvania, Chester. This Philadelphia suburb has violent crime among Pennsylvania's worst. With 33,000 residents, Chester sees murders and assaults at rates rivaling major cities. Economic devastation and gang violence create extreme danger. Rhode Island, Providence. Rhode Island's capital has violent crime, far exceeding the state average. Gang activity, shootings, and murders occur regularly in specific neighborhoods of this 190,000 resident city. South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. Beyond tourist areas, this coastal city has violent crime 180% above state averages. Gang violence, drug trafficking, and seasonal crime create year-round danger in certain neighborhoods. South Dakota, Rapid City. South Dakota's second-largest city has violent crime triple the state average. With 77,000 residents, Rapid City struggles with assaults and drug-related violence. Tennessee, Memphis. Tennessee's most dangerous city has violent crime among America's worst. With 633,000 residents, Memphis sees over 300 murders annually. Gang violence, poverty, and shootings create conditions where danger is normalized. Texas, Odessa. This oil town has violent crime 200% above Texas averages. Economic volatility, gang activity, and assaults plague this city of 115,000. Utah, South Salt Lake. This Salt Lake City suburb has violent crime triple Utah's average. With just 25,000 residents, the crime concentration is severe. Vermont, Burlington. Even Vermont's most dangerous city is relatively safe, but Burlington has violent crime 150% above state averages. Drug trafficking fuels most violence. Virginia, Portsmouth. This Hampton Roads city has violent crime far exceeding Virginia averages. Gang violence and murders occur regularly in this 94,000 resident city. Washington, Tacoma. Washington's third-largest city has violent crime 140% above state averages. Gang activity, shootings, and property crime plague certain neighborhoods. West Virginia, Charleston. The state capital has violent crime 180% above West Virginia's average. Drug trafficking and economic decline fuel violence. Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Wisconsin's largest city has violent crime far exceeding state averages. With 577,000 residents, Milwaukee sees over 150 murders annually. Gang violence dominates certain neighborhoods. Wyoming, Riverton. Even Wyoming's most dangerous town is relatively safe by national standards, but Riverton has violent crime 200% above the state average. I hope you enjoyed the video.